So today is the final TA reflection that I'll be doing on my um, time serving as a TA, a teaching assistant for the LORC's Leaderships in Groups and Communities course. So I have a lot to reflect on, and in all honesty, this is a quite sad reflection video because I've had such a great time, and now to try to put all the things that I've learned, all the things that I've gained from this experience into like a 5 to 7 minute video is difficult, but I'm gonna do my best. Um, so I thought that it would be appropriate to do three final takeaways and then expand from there regarding my teaching assistant experience. So I wrote it down to make sure that I do my experience justice. So the first takeaway that I have is the importance of being flexible. So not just flexible in terms of curriculum and how you go about teaching the day's objectives, but even more so flexible with students. Things happen. Their entire being is not just to be a student. You know, they have families, they have different obligations, they get sick. So understanding that life happens and how do we help this student progress and persist through this class um, while still making sure that they learn what they are supposed to learn. Additionally, teaching is a lot like learning as you go. I think that I really benefited from having Dr. Marianne Lawrenson as the head instructor because she was new to the position, right? So I'm her first TA for Florida State University. This was her first time teaching this course. So we got to develop a lot that will probably stick with the way that this course is ran for semesters ahead of us. So, for example, I got to help with connecting us to different service agencies in Tallahassee. They'll probably still continue using these service agencies. Maybe a few of them, they'll say this year it didn't work, let's try some more. But I definitely was able to leave my mark in that area. The activities we did, right? So some of them were great activities that got a lot of buy-in. Some of them were activities that the students didn't quite understand. But then it also varied from sections. So, you know, maybe the section that Marianne and I taught, they really enjoyed the activity and they really dug into it. But then the section that she taught alone, you know, sometimes that section just wasn't feeling the activity. So it's a lot of learning as you go. And I think that that was huge, was for me to learn and watch Marianne as she learned as she goes. So next week when we do our final one-on-one, today is December 5th, if I didn't mention that. But next week when we do our one-on-one, the last one, I want to thank her for allowing me to, one, work alongside her, but also to get to watch as she sort of rode with the punches and learned Florida State and learned all that the class encompassed. It was a great experience. Other than that, teaching is difficult. That would be my second takeaway. You never know what the day will bring. Sometimes students are just bogged down, they're tired, they're not into it. You might develop this beautiful lesson that you just have so much energy behind. But then you get in the class and you know the class doesn't have the same energy. They just don't like the activity. It's just not a good day. It's raining really hard outside, and they just walked across campus, and now they're wet. You know, so they're looking at you like you really want me to get up and interact. So you never know. Teaching is difficult. We're working with multiple students. So this class had 18 students, so 18 different perceptions of the activity, 18 different perceptions of Marianne and I's teaching styles. So you just never know what you're going to get with the students. And then the third takeaway is that it's rewarding. I think that through the evolution of my videos this semester, you've got to hear some of the positives through the positive sandwiches, and then also some of the challenges that I faced while trying to teach this class, or co-teach it, I should say. But the rewarding aspects have definitely outweighed the challenges, and those rewarding aspects that I can think of right away would be the relationships built. I mean, the other day I got to walk with a student who definitely struggled in the class, but they walked with me for a good 10 minutes because we were headed to the same parking garage or same area. and she just talked to me. You know, she shared her struggles with um, taking a semester off, like medically withdrawing, and now this semester she took 18 or 19 credits. And I can remember my undergrad days and taking 19, 18 or 19 credits, and I'm like, yeah, you know, that's tough. And just affirming to her, you know, she did it. She's gonna pass our class more than likely, and I'm sure with the other classes, she did just fine. So even though she struggled, it's nice to affirm the student. You know, like even so, you still did it. Other than that, I got to watch a lot of growth occur. So this is a service learning class. So I get to hear weeks, you know, every week about the different ways that they've learned how to work with different populations that maybe they haven't worked with. I got to watch a few presentations. So I will say at the beginning of the semester, the presentations were rough. They were rough. Everybody wanted to huddle behind the little projector. If you've been in the Globe, you know the projector is usually in the corner of the room. Um, they weren't prepared. People had lots of technology problems that could have easily been fixed by a little bit more editing, I would say. So they were rough. But today was actually day one of a 2 day. So Friday, the rest of the groups will complete their presentations. But today I got to see some amazing growth in their presentation style. So not only did they stop huddling from, you know, behind the computer, so today they were like, you know, excuse me. So at first they started huddling, and then a couple of the students were like, you know, maybe it's better if I go over here. So just the simple act of learning how to give a presentation. So that was super cool. Additionally, giving students something to think about. I think that sometimes part of learning is that you don't realize that you learned something a lot of the times until you're looking back on it in hindsight. So maybe one day they'll come across a conversation or another class, or they'll get a job where they'll need to use the expertise that they learned, or the different things that they learned within our service learning course. But we're planting the seeds. Marianne and we were able to plant seeds in their minds. And even though this was a very introductory foundational course, one day I do believe that the information that they learned will help them in some way. So that's super cool. I think that I love teaching. I love TAing, I should say. I haven't really gotten to fully teach. It's probably something completely different when it's just my class. But I loved this experience. I can truly say that. And I thought about TAing next semester, and I was given the opportunity to TA next semester. But for my own sanity, I think that what I've gained from this experience is enough for me to leave the master's program satisfied. I don't think that I need to overwhelm myself or overwork myself next semester trying to carry all these glass balls from, you know, our conversation about time management. So you got the glass ball, you got the tennis ball. So I think that this semester was more than enough in regards to teaching experience, and I'm very thankful for it. So I hope that you enjoyed my reflections over this semester. I am more than happy to continue talking to you about my takeaways from the TA journey, my takeaways from the GA journey. So thank you for listening, and I will see you soon. Bye.